We'll get started in just a minute. What's going on, everybody? Let's play a little bit of, I've got so many people that love this song. I don't know why, into the 80s. So because this is a party, we're going to keep the music in the background here just for a little bit. We're just having a little ETH breakout party. I don't know what you guys are up to, but it's exciting times in the world of crypto. Let's see here. You're welcome, Z Colin. What's going on, Vern? Hi, Nuno from Portugal. Do you think we get a better entry? I'm watching your previous video with Heath and then suddenly this popped up. Sorry. Well, I hope you enjoy the videos nonetheless. Hold on, my YouTube studio is being weird. Alright, my YouTube studio is being weird. I hope I didn't cut out there. 80s Synthwave going on here. Alright, make sure it's not too distracting. Alright, do I think we get a better entry? Yeah, so I actually had an alert set to sell Ethereum right here. I was planning to sell into resistance, but I was waiting to see if it was going to come back down. And it blasted right through. So obviously I haven't sold any of my ETH positions. I did stupidly take profit on this on ETH BTC. I do think both of them hopefully will give us a good retest and resumption of these fresh levels. When this was consolidating here, I took profit initially here myself, and then I took more as I thought it looked like it was breaking down. I didn't know if it was going to consolidate, and I should have re-entered as we broke out here. I actually thought about it, but I just didn't do it. I do have trades on ETH USD, so I got a nice big trade on here. So this is good for me. I'm fine with this. I closed my ETH BTC trade because BTC was I probably should have kept it on though. Now that in hindsight, and here's a mistake I made. I'm not sure what mistake I made with you guys. Hey, can y'all hear me? Okay, everything here. I got the music going in the background. I hope it's not too distracting. Because this is a bit of a party, I just was letting the music roll for a little bit here until everybody got on. But let's kill the music. All right, can y'all hear me okay out there? What's going on, Ajith? All right, good deal. So yeah, I want to share. So I did make a bit of a mistake. I was watching. Let me. I always like to pull this up with my guest. I'm sorry to do this to you guys. So that coinbase.com. If I go to the trading platform, and then take a look at this. I do have some history a long time ago with GDAX. I don't know. I've been watching this sell wall at 60,000. And in hindsight, what I should have done is knowing that we had this sell wall, but still a lot of bullish momentum on Bitcoin, knowing that Bitcoin is probably going to consolidate right here. You can see here I had this alert on my thing to sell some Bitcoin coming into that resistance. So on my trade, I'm going to sell some of my trade, maybe 10, 20%. The expectation that we actually come back down here one more time and retest on Bitcoin. So I'm expecting us to get rejected here because of that sell wall, and then I might shave a little bit there. But I did have an alert on Ethereum. Now, ETH BTC I should have kept my trade on though, because Bitcoin was going to be stuck at 60K, but we got a lot of bullish momentum. So and this was a really good. I took this trade. This is a mistake on my part. I took this trade because of the huge upside. And I closed out my position a little too early. I was trying to close out coming into one of these resistances and then reopen above it. I should have waited. I took some here. I should have waited probably for a larger, higher resistance level to take profit. Like up here somewhere. Bit of a mistake on my part. Being impatient with that particular trade. Not wanting to mess around just in case Bitcoin broke out too. I didn't know who was going to be stronger coming out the gates here. So I was a little bit cagey with my ETH BTC trade, but ETH's coming out the gates a little bit stronger right now, and I think Bitcoin's going to be stuck under 60K for just a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. Why is my tuning in from Dubai? Awesome. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the synth. You can keep listening to it on your own. I think I've got it turned off for you guys. Yeah, desktop audio is turned off. I got it on my headphones though. Oh, I don't have my camera up. Howdy. Let's move this over just a little bit. Yeah, so Bitcoin stuck here. So I'll be watching to add. I mean, I have to do my calculations here. Now if I move my stop loss up to probably 1870, somewhere right below that, I could probably move it all up to. My stop loss is probably way down at 1720, I'm guessing right now, or below even 1640. Maybe I gotta go check them. I do have 2 positions on, I believe. And I already taken some profit up here. But if I slide those up, I can take another entry. In theory, we should get a retest at this level. I would imagine we will, especially with Bitcoin probably being stuck consolidating under 60K for a little bit. I think Ethereum will probably cool off and give us a good CTM entry post breakout of this trend line here and hit 1900 again. We'll see if we get. Let's see if we can find. Let's pull up pro.coinbase.com. Let's just take a look at the ETH USD and see if we get a little bit of a wall. Yeah. Well, no, we don't really have a sell wall on ETH too much. The next sell wall is at 2K. That's kind of predictable. It's just 1950 and 2K are the levels. So ETH's got some room to run. And it's not. Let's see how big that wall is. It's not too bad. All right, let's take a look at comments. To the moon. To the moon. So let's look at what's ADA. See, I kind of thought ADA. I took profit on DOT. You saw I opened a DOT trade. I took profit right, and we came into that level right there. It's a Heath level. I'll show you how I got that level. You see, it's the last bullish push up on the daily before the big sell-off. So that was going to be pretty strong resistance. So I took profit right there, and I'm waiting for the next entry signal. Because it was kind of an aggressive entry as it was, so I'm much quicker to take profits when I'm taking entries. The entry was somewhere over here. Well, maybe probably this one or this one. I'm not sure exactly. But now it's the bottom one. But since I'm taking kind of aggressive entries inside of what I consider consolidation range, I'm pretty quick to take profits as we come into these levels. Now, if we get out here on DOT, I'll let that one run more. Price discovery, obviously, you need to let your trades run a lot more, but ETH, yeah, we're going to get that retest here before too long. 1900 is going to be a bit of resistance. Let's take a look at the order book on ETH real fast and see what we can see. Can y'all see that okay? Move this over so I can see the order book. Orders coming in. I'm going to squeeze this all together so I can see everything. Oh, wait. Perfect. That looks pretty good. All right. Yeah, so a lot of fresh orders coming in on ETH on the buy side. Obviously, it looks a little tilted on the short range, kind of the order book here, but I wouldn't be too concerned. I can't zoom in here. I wouldn't be too concerned with that. These walls can disappear pretty fast. If you zoom way in, it's much more of a battle until we get zoomed out a bit here. Well, that just changed. That changed pretty quick, didn't it? Yeah, so we just came off a little bit. 1906. So that just changed real fast. Somebody dumped their sell wall. Hold on. Oh, it's still over here. I just didn't zoom out enough. I've got some afternoon cold brew I'm sipping on. So this is kind of midday crypto and coffee. All right, let's take a look at comments. It's gonna go for a day, dip a bit, and then back up. Gus, that seems likely. Good day, 10-4, alt's fine. Howdy. Total crypto market cap at all-time high resistance. Oh, good call. Let's take a look. So here's our total crypto market cap. And then total 2, sans Bitcoin. Apparently, last time I really used this chart, I had a resistance way down here. That blew past that, didn't it? Yeah, these lines are all useless. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Should have just deleted it all. All right, let's look at Bitcoin dominance. It should be dropping. Yep. See right here. This is the that last phase. We talk about this a lot. The phases that I have kind of for our alt season cycle. This FOMO phase should bring us on a drop from where we're at. We've been consolidating here. You can see this kind of pattern we've been consolidating in. Break below this pattern, and 57, we should get a bounce. And it might go as low as 50. But I think the 50, yeah, I just don't know. That'd be a huge move in altcoins. It might be that we stay above 57 for now, and we don't get this move down to 50 and then below, possibly, after Bitcoin makes its new long-term all-time high here when the phase is over. What's going on, Heath? You see Heath is in the house. The man with the plan. Oh boy, let's look at Bitcoin dominance up close here real fast. It's just moving all over the place. Yeah, I mean, it's slowly fading. What do we got here? We're getting support right here. Again, this is not like an actively traded chart, so I don't know what that. It's just a barometer, really. Is it? Let's see. There's an alt season index. Where's that? Is it alt season? Is it alt season right now? There we go. We are at alt season. We're up here pretty high at alt season. Wow, I didn't realize this had tipped so far in alt season's favor. Wow. That's pumped. That Chili's up there? Chili's has had some good returns. Engine is one of my recommendations. H-bar, Doge, AVAX, ADA. Yep, alt season it is. So we should be coming to an end. Just be wary, right? So we're up here pretty high, pretty hot. It gets as high as 89. We're currently 86. It's gotten as high as 89 in the recent past. I think if we go back further in time, this has gotten much higher. Hold on. How do I get back further in time? It's reached levels of like 92 or something, as far as if I remember. They're little. I don't know how they calculate this, but nonetheless, is it altcoin month? No. All right. Nonetheless, we're in alt season for sure. according to however they calculate this. I don't even know how they calculate it. Just pretty graph. Take a look at Cody Bitcoin. Sure. I don't know what that is. What is Cody? Cody BTC? Hey, it's on KuCoin, so I'll take a look at it there. I'm on the daily. Just looking at kind of a broad picture. Get rid of that wick. Okay, let's go with recent price action here. So, I need to look up and see what this project is because I don't recall. Exactly. I've heard it, I'm pretty sure, before, but I don't remember what it is. Interestingly enough, it's kind of this bottom. I mean, this is like, I know people have been talking about, they've been seeing a lot of cup and handles. You might be, I mean, this kind of was a cup and a handle there. I don't know, cup and handles, I don't know how on earth you trade around those. It just, sometimes they kind of appear on the chart, and I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe that's a cup and handle. I don't know what to do with it. Let's go look at what it is. I can't talk about it unless I know what the heck I'm talking about, to be honest with you. So I can't, it's bothering me that I don't remember what it is. So I'm gonna look at that first. Fintech platform on a blockchain. Okay, fair enough. Let's take a look at their website. On the chart, though, you know, man, it's on a nice little ramp, but it's coming into resistance. Like, I don't know if it's that prior trend line. The main thing is obviously this prior high here was a bit of resistance, and using Heath's kind of methodology, obviously, let's see here, what do we got? I'm trying to, so Heath coached me some of the day, so maybe I'm getting better at this finally. So, we had this big push up, we got significant rejection right here, obviously. It found support there. That's the last bullish before the big push up here. Just trying to think, so it came up, came back down, found support here. And then a huge move up. Obviously, your new resistance is really going to be up there. And it might find support as far up as here, right? Heath, tell me if I'm off on that level and that level, the ones I see on the daily. Let's go look at the 8-hour. There's a resistance there. Pull that down right there. So you had this big push up, you had a big push down, and then you got recovery right here. So when you drop below this level, right on the 8-hour, which is not too far off from that daily, whatever that level is on the Bitcoin chart, yeah, it seemed to get a bounce right there, but you're kind of in no man's land at this point as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, you fell back below and you're consolidating on whatever this is. Interesting looking chart, just because I don't have a good answer for you. Because you're kind of in this, definitely in what I would call no man's land. But, you know, using some of Heath's kind of, if we can bounce into this little level right here, you got to bounce off of it already. You haven't closed below it. As long as you don't close below whatever this, so I got 585, whatever it is on my chart level, and you can hold up that there and move back up, you should get a move. Where's your last? Let me go to the daily again, look at something right there. So this is kind of the range I'm seeing for now. This is very Heath style. So if you can hold here, you might get a move up into here. You really probably want to see it. I think what I'm seeing is you're going to want to see it break 676 to be able to really trade it again, to know that you're going back up. But probably, given the move it's had, given the fact that it's under this prior, this daily high here before, I'm going to put this right here. It's a lot of resistance up above. So it's probably going to consolidate here and find support at one of these levels. I would maybe wait until you see it take out this 676 level and then take your trade on there. But interesting chart, just because it's kind of this almost double top-ish pattern, but that's not what it is. But all right, cool. I need to have Heath back on here to tell me about. Hey, Brandon. Okay, let's take a look here at. Yeah, so when it's not trending like this, I kind of just generally, stay away. But I bet on the USD chart that's looking pretty good though. Let's look back at ETH. All right, and Bitcoin. What is ETH doing? Yeah, ETH's gonna have a bit of a wall. And what is Bitcoin doing? I want to see what wall's doing. Does it come down some? We chipped away at it all? Not really. All right, take a look at comments. I spent a long time on that one chart. Where was that, Cody? Sounds good. All right, Rich, I got the music off now. It's a long, old comment. Sorry. Total crypto market cap just set an all-time high. Take a look at Link. Yes, I just put a new trade on Link. Oh, I should have said that, shouldn't I? Yeah, I actually opened it now. It's kind of I was very conflicted because I had this trend line that we're trying to come back into, and we're going to find resistance at this trend line, right? Connected these touches down here. But I also had this upper trend line here that I was tracking. We bounced off of that, so we're consolidating. And really, because I'm more focused on my CTM entries than I am on these trend lines, this level right here, we broke it, retested it, and resumed on a 12-hour, so I took the trade. Not the best feeling about it in the short term. Now, in the long term, I think it's going to work out just fine. But we're going to fight into this resistance. But I took it knowing that we're going to come into resistance at both of these because it's a CTM entry. Now, I've got room to add more. This is an initial add. What I'm looking for is just to break this level and get above this downtrend and these two trend lines here, and then maybe add some more here, and then maybe sell some coming into resistance here, and then look to add when on the next entry, either above here or as we come back down here. That'll be my general strategy on Link. I mean, I've got my HODL bag. I think it's going to make a big move pretty soon, honestly. It's been lagging. It's a very strong crypto project, so I don't see any reason why it shouldn't get some love here before too long. But that's where I'm at. So I've got one trade on now. I'll be looking to layer. I haven't taken a trade on Link in so long. It's been so long. So that's the first trade I've taken on Link in forever. A little bit preemptive of us getting above this. Ultimately, I should have waited, but again, this green line is a really 2685 level is really important. So given that it's really a horizontal CTM entry on coming off of this right here, bouncing off of that level, I went ahead and took my initial there. And I'll manage it accordingly. Stop loss down below this wick. All right, what do we got? Hey, CTM fam, Cake USD. Thank you, Justin, for the compliment. I looked at Cody. I don't know what XVS is. The ultimate power grid of payments. Let's look at XVS. XVS. Doesn't sound familiar. Venus. Money and synthetic stablecoin protocol. Oh, it's a BSC project. Cool. Is it getting ready to break out? VXS, XBS, XBS, USD. I mean, it's crypto, and we're in alt season, so the answer is probably yes. You can throw a stone and hit. I mean, it's impossible not to hit something that's gonna, 2x pretty soon. All right, there's your support that I see, which is really kind of right here now. You broke this level, which is good. I think you kind of already are on a breakout. So you had this nice consolidation right through here. Broke out to the upside of that. There's a bunch of levels you've already taken out, and you're kind of you're in thin air. There's not a lot of resistance up here. I mean, you got a little bit, but not a lot. So whatever this is, it broke this level right here. Assuming you close, let's look at the daily. It's moved a bit much. I mean, you're gonna probably want it to see right here, this level. I would wait for it to come back in and retest that level myself. At this point, like if I hadn't caught this, somewhere over here, there's probably some good entries right through here. I'd wait for it to bounce back into this and resume off at this point. That'd be a much safer play, I would think. But it's a good looking chart. It's definitely moving in the right direction. Uptrend, consolidation, very standard crypto-y looking chart. Let's look at the 4 hour on this sucker. Yeah, here would have been your entries, right? So you formed a nice support right through here. And you got a breakout right there. Beautiful. You could have taken your... Yeah, it depends on where you want to play. I bet if I go to 12 hour, yep, 12 hour would have been... I love 12 hour entries. They're my favorite in crypto, and there's your 12 hour entry. Right? Right as you took that out. Now, you'd have a little bit of... And this happens a lot. You just have to sit through it, right? You would have taken that entry and then immediately went against you, but then it turned right around. But my stop loss would have been down here, so I've been managing it accordingly. A lot of times, like I very rarely, I'm going to share this with you guys, I very, very rarely get stopped out of crypto trades anymore because I put such wide stop losses on them now. 9 times out of 10, if this breaks down, when I get a bounce back up into the level that it broke down and I see it coming back down, I'll close out way early and preemptively of my stop loss, so my losses are even smaller. Now, my stop loss is there in case there's just a, crazy maniacal sell-off. But I haven't eaten very many stop losses in all this volatility much because I keep putting my stops pretty far out of range and keeping my positions small and laddering in. So but we've been doing better. My strategy, I've been kind of refining my strategy to get. I hate eating stop losses. I really hate it. All right, scaling ETH. Cody is also partnering with ADA. Well, there you go. Cake, please. Cake and eat it too. KuCoin. Yeah, it's available on KuCoin. Pancake swap. All right. Looking good. Let's do a daily. Yeah. You're very vertical. Not bad. Not too shabby. You came off of bottom of 9. Market got you there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would do. This is not one I want to trade per se. I mean, it's strong. It's definitely trending. So on the 4 hour, you see this uptrend that we're on right now. I mean, it's crypto, so it can do all kinds of things. This level you're sitting on right now. Here's what I would hope for. If I was wanting to put a trade on this, I would hope that we get some consolidation right around here for a little bit, maybe underneath it. Actually break this parabolic trend line and consolidate underneath this, and then get you a really good signal coming out of there. That's what I'd hope for. So, because taking an entry right now when it's on this parabolic ramp without a whole lot of consolidation, I mean, the odds are you just get something that looks like this. And I don't know how well you can play that. All right. Premium always negative. What does that tell us? Why is my stream cutting out? Like I upgraded my internet, and now my stream cuts out on me every once in a while. When I had slower internet on the exact same provider, this never happened. I probably need to tweak my QoS in my router. All right. What is ETH premium voice? Listen, what it tells me is it's a buying opportunity, and the reason is because of all these trusts, the other alternatives that have come in the market, and when we start, there's a lot of other options, Bitwise and others. When we start, up in price discovery again, and you get that kind of FOMO into, so when equities, people that are playing equities start buying up these names pretty ravenously, and also GBTC and ETH are higher because the grayscale is just higher cost than these new trusts that have come online. They're much lower cost options now available. I think it's just competition in the space. However, the fact that they've moved into negative, trading at a discount, I think is just a gift. I think you buy them because what's going to happen is when we start breaking out into new all-time highs in price discovery, and you get that fresh, round of FOMO, all these trusts are going to go into trading at a premium. Now, grayscale trusts are probably going to trade at a little bit less of a premium than the lower fee ones, but in a short-term trader's mindset, it really doesn't matter if you're just trading that vehicle for a couple of days to take some trades in and out of it, right? So I think it's a bit of a gift because I think they're going to very quickly flip from trading at a discount, which I've loaded up. Like wherever I have equities, I've bought the dip as much as I can. I sold a few things to buy the dip on GBTC specifically. Because I think that's a gift. I think it's going to trade at a premium again when things start to move. It won't get to the same premium levels it had before, but trading at a discount in the middle of the Bitcoin bull market, and I don't care what trust you are, if you're trading at a discount, in the middle of the crypto bull market, the odds are it's going to flip back into trading at a premium, and it may not be the same, large premium it was before, but still taking a trade, when you have resumption of price like we have happening on Bitcoin, right? Buying the dip on those when they're at a heavy discount, when you break the all-time high here, it's going to blow up and it's going to have a big premium on it, and then you sell. A lot of our price targets are 72K on Bitcoin, so maybe coming into 68K when the premium's really starting to balloon before momentum slows down. That premium moves with momentum too, so just keep that in mind. So if we come into 68K, have a little bit of resistance, then we fight our way up to 72 or 70. I guess I got marked 74K on my chart here. I've got two potential levels. Roughly these two levels. I'll get this further out here. So I have like mid-April. This should be up here. And so my targets, the next move on Bitcoin is like the low to mid 70s. So somewhere in the 70s, I think, is where we kind of peak out. But as we come into that, once we break this and we have this screaming move, it's going to be a quick move, and then it's going to consolidate and shake people out, and then do something like this, right? So you see this big move is when those premiums are going to expand like crazy. And so this is a good opportunity, maybe coming into this, if you come into this trend line here on Bitcoin, sell your GBTC here or some of it. Because as this consolidates, it's probably the premium's going to evaporate, right? It may even go back to discount. It's going to be a great opportunity to buy the dip on whatever consolidation we get before we, make these next legs up. So just a good way to play it, man. When they go into, we're in the middle of the bull market. When any trust goes into a situation where it's trading at a discount, I consider that a gift and I buy. And they mean that Grayscale, Grayscale very well might be the first ETF too. If they announce that they're the first ETF, all these trusts are going to blow up. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think people way overthink this stuff. People way overthink it. All right. So I said, I hope that answered your question. I'm not worried about it. I never have been. I mean, Grayscale's been around a long time. They've been the big leader in crypto trust for forever. So I'm not too worried about it. Lending platforms. They are having the V2 update. Oh, Pundit? No, wait, no. Venus. Okay, cool. Venus is having a big update. Yeah, I have heard of Venus, I think, but I've never looked into it. Too many other projects out there. How long should the alt season last? I think it'll last through April. Probably die out mid to late April, maybe even on into May. I don't really know. Just depends on what the velocity is of the price action. If we get a lot of consolidation here, the next couple of days, it ends up consolidating through early to mid-April before it really starts to move. Then it might run all the way through April into early May. I do think it's gonna. The big things to watch for are when my barometer is when Polkadot hits around 3,000% total gain. So here's how I'm measuring it. Last cycle, Ethereum made, we're at from the time we really started to ramp up to now. I believe, let me turn this off of auto. Believe we have about a 600% gain, 700% gain. Yeah, so Polkadot's had about 700% gain. If Polkadot were to get to like 3,000% gain, I'd definitely be looking for a top in alt season in the short term, because that's pretty much exactly what, Ethereum did 3,600% gain last cycle, and I think Polkadot's the closest analog to Ethereum we had from last cycle for this cycle. The other indicator is this, Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, 50. This may be a little bit high, but yeah, around this 57 level, we could bottom out here, and if we see it looks like it's wanting to reverse and kind of bottom out here and go the other direction, then we probably have ended alt season. Maybe as far down as 50% on Bitcoin dominance. The other barometer will be the levels we've been watching on Ethereum, which I think 2,800 is a good upper end potential target on Ethereum. And I did a bunch of work around that before. So if we were to hit, say, 2,800, I would think we probably are getting to the end of the early phases of alt season, right? It's ahead of the whatever bear trap. Whenever Bitcoin gets rejected at whatever price he's going to get its next nasty rejection at, it might be one of these levels we've got on here. I guess I did have the 80. All right, there we go. I forgot. Yeah, so my two levels right now are, if I go out to mid-April on this top, right around 74 actually, because we've been consolidating a bit here. 74 to 80,000 might be a pretty harsh rejection. Obviously, the big psychological one is 100,000. Whenever Bitcoin gets that big nasty rejection and a 40% plus sell-off, the alts are obviously going to die. But then what's going to happen is Bitcoin's going to find a bottom and then recover very quickly, a lot quicker than the bears are hoping for. And then it's going to rip people's faces off and do its parabolic top. And it's going to, when it does its parabolic blow off, once it recovers, the alts are going to bleed versus Bitcoin. Now they'll be doing well, so you can still take trades on them, but they're probably going to bleed badly versus Bitcoin specifically. And then at the very bitter end, when Bitcoin sells off, some money will flow into those alts. They'll have one more big pop, and then the party will be over. And hopefully we're all out sitting in stable coins and or gold or whatever your preferred Lamborghinis, I don't know, whatever your preferred exit strategy is. All right, what do we got here? Comments. You're welcome, Daniel. Why do you use a 12-hour on crypto? Ed, it's really simple. It removes noise. Like, very simply speaking, when things are trending very strongly, 4-hour entries are great. I'll show you an example. When Polkadot was just ramping, we got a few places where I got entries, these small consolidation periods here on Polkadot that we may not have gotten on the 12-hour. But for the most part, I get far more false entries on the 4-hour and 8-hour in crypto than I get on the 12-hour. And with crypto trading 24/7, 365, the after hours Asian session is still the craziest. Some of the craziest stuff happens, from midnight my time to 6 a.m. my time, which is right firmly in the Asian session. So, in order to help me also weed out that noise in the chart, so if you go in the chart and you look, you'll see a lot of these insane wicks on like the 8-hour are happening in that time frame. And so to help me weed that out, the 12-hour helps me. Basically, it splits the day into two halves, right? It's I guess technically, it goes to mid-afternoon really. So it splits the nighttime and the daytime more or less, roughly. But it helps weed out the noise for me, because if I get a signal on the 12-hour, we've gone through a broader cycle of trading, and so I've just noticed it has far fewer. And I also vastly prefer taking the 12-hour at the same time that we all want to take all of our trades, especially in Forex. So mornings are the best, and especially weekday mornings. Early in the week, even better. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The sketchiest entries are Sunday, which you can still take them, but you're headed for some severe volatility, so just be prepared for that if you take entries on Sunday. But sometimes things gap up, sometimes things gap down on Sunday night. It's just the way it works. But yeah, if you take a 12-hour entry, if that 12-hour entry occurs, 8 to 5 Monday through Friday Eastern time business hours, those are the best entries. And so that's why I'm a little bit less fearful. Like this link entry, although I don't necessarily like it because I have this trend line right above me, because this was also a 8 to 5 Monday through Friday entry, I have more conviction in it. So those are just, to me, better entries. So anyway, the short answer is 12-hour helps remove noise. 4-hour is great for very highly trending when things are moving very quickly, but the 12-hour it's much lower false positive rate there, so a lot higher success rate. All right. What percentage of your HODL bag do you hold until the end of the market? I'm not sure what the tokens to band. Jay, 100% of my HODL bag. So I'm never out of my HODL bag. I since November, I've had very little fiat availability. Every fiat, everything that I get, anytime I got a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I will get to that here in a second. Every single time I get any sort of funds available, I sell some equities or stock options or wherever I come across fiat or trade profits, whatever it is, I've been dumping all that fiat into crypto, into my HODL bag. So I've got Bitcoin and other cryptos in cold storage. Then I've also got, especially Bitcoin, spread across exchanges as my base account. So my base account's in Bitcoin. All my trades are based on that base account. The equity that I'm using for those trades is Bitcoin. I consider that a part of my HODL bag. I'm not going to sell my base account or trade my base account out to fiat. So I'm pretty much 100% in crypto until the bitter end. And then I'll start converting into non-crypto assets. But a lot of my money will probably stay in stable coins, and I'll be trading with stable coins in my base account for a while there in the bear market. So that's why I do it. All right. Let's get to the super chat. When do you think the bull market in general? Joshua, thank you for the question. Excellent question. I will share a lot of research I've done with you right now. So here's my long-term Bitcoin Liquid Index chart. This is where I do all of my mapping and all my research. And I've spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of researching stock to flow, lengthening Bitcoin cycles, every type of cycle, every type of way to measure the cycle you can come up with. And so on this chart, what I've done is I've tried to consolidate. I'll put this on 3D because I think I can fit it all in one chart. I try to consolidate as much of the pertinent research that I can figure out into this one chart. Okay, so let me share this with you. There's a lot of theories out there. There's a lot of theories out there. Most of them are dead wrong. And there's a lot of ways that people try to measure. Let me just show you some of them. I'm going to be complete, since you gave me a nice super chat there, I'm going to be very complete in answering my question for you. If I go to, I want to measure, where's the measure tool? I can never find this thing, because I only use it for live streams, price. I use this a lot when I'm doing my own analysis, this date and price range, but I don't use the little line that you see Jordan Conquer Trading use a lot to measure it. I can never find it. Trend, here it is, info line, stupid. All right, so people try to measure from the bottom to the top, and they try to measure from this to that, and they measure from all over. They measure all kinds of stuff, trying to figure out what the price is going to be. The problem is the macroeconomic conditions in every single cycle is so vastly different that this is a very flawed way of doing it. For example, this first cycle, which wasn't really a cycle, it was just the inception of Bitcoin. The price action is far different than the other two cycles, because this was the very beginning of this new volatile asset, and it hadn't gone through the supply shock just yet, right? So when the supply shock happened here, this is your first bull market that matters. But because, again, it's still a new asset, this kind of double top that we had, it throws off a ton of indicators, and it messes up a lot of indicators. Plus, monetary conditions in that time frame were a lot different than they are today, and were definitely a lot different than they were. We had much harder monetary conditions and a much stronger dollar, especially through here, the early part of the second bull run, this one has the most viable data as far as I'm concerned. So I pay far more attention to this second cycle than I do the first cycle, right? I consider this the first cycle, this the second cycle, this the third cycle, this is cycle 0. This is the inception. It's not a cycle because it hadn't done its full, it hadn't gone through a halving cut yet. This is the asset coming online for the very first time. So this is, to me, is cycle 0. So I don't really study it too much. Because I don't want to overcomplicate things. I want to have the same exact conditions. I want the condition to be that we had an asset that went through a reduction in its supply. This didn't happen here. You never had a reduction in supply. It just was an asset that came online. So I count this one out. Don't throw anything out there. All right. So let's move to the other two. Now on these two cycles, I got to leave it up here so you can see these measures at the bottom here. I've spent a lot of time researching all kinds of models, and the one model that makes the most sense to me is just the standard stock to flow model, because at the end of the day, what drives markets? Supply and demand. So we look at the supply-demand ratio, and we can derive a lot of things from it. Yeah, it's the second cycle here. And one thing that really intrigues me about the timing of this is that we tend to have a low not too far. So as the halving approaches, basically what happens is the market comes to an equilibrium, right? So if you look at this very first cycle, what you'll see happen is that after the halving event, it sent a supply shock into the market that drove price up. And then the market normalized, right? And then we had this big sell-off because we had this big blow-off top because the market hadn't digested, the market at large did not understand the ramifications of this event. And then it cooled off, and it had its sell-off, and then it came to this new paradigm low, right? And then as the market recovered, in this time period right here, from roughly, say, here to here, and then on this chart from right here to maybe right here, this is the market grappling with, okay, they've got the supply is stable. This is just the general, this is the standard market moving all around and repricing this new asset, all right? All right, so psychologically then, this is the area that we get the most valid information from is through here about how the market thinks about this asset. What blows that out is every time the market still doesn't understand the ramifications of the halving. At some point in the future, it'll be priced in, but currently, apparently, it's not. All right, but what happens is roughly as the market normalizes, you see this normal incline in price start to happen. And so the time it takes for the market to normalize around the supply shock, figure out what's the new normal, and then the price starts to rebound as the asset comes into an equilibrium until the next supply shock. What's interesting is that from the supply shock or the halving to the cycle high, and both of these cycles was interestingly enough very close to the amount of time it took the market to figure out, to come to a new normal before it was shot. The supply shock happened again, right? And so this range right here from this basically the cycle low, this is a more normal trajectory, and you would have followed something more normal like this had it not been for the supply shock. The supply shock causes these big blow off tops. So understanding market psychology and how the market normalizes around supply and demand, what I found the most interesting and most useful is the time it takes to go from the cycle low to the supply shock. The supply shock to the cycle high is a little bit shorter than the low back to the supply shock area. So if you measure it out, you'll see here that from cycle low here to cycle high here, we see it was a total of 746 days in this first cycle, right? And then, that one doesn't really count too much. The next one was 1,073 days from the low to the new high, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, over here. And then you had the sell-off, the bear market lasted 365 days. So from the cycle low to the cycle high, this one was 1,073 days, and this one was only 746 days. But I kind of throw that out again because this is the inception of a new asset. But what's interesting is that if you measure from this low to the halving, it was 371 days. From the halving to the high is 369 days. The bear market lasted 406 days, or 403 days. I guess I didn't measure those exact perfect. But from the low of the first cycle, I call it, in 2015 to 2016, it was 542 days. And then from the halving to the peak was 528 days, slightly shorter. Now also note here, we had much harder monetary conditions and a stronger dollar, which caused a slower start to the market. And then you see here a huge, then it started to really move in the right direction, a pretty strong correction. Now in our cycle, we've had a more steady ramp up, but if you look at from the cycle low was, let's see here, right around the 12th of December 2018, roughly, somewhere in there, so say mid-December 2018. From that point until the next halving, the supply shock was, I got it marked at 508 days, okay? So slightly less, and I think it's like they say 2% or so. I think it should be 506 days. I don't know why I have 507. I think I have 507 here because I can never get this thing to get it right at 506 days. Anyway, it puts my date at September 24th as a potential peak for the next cycle. September 24th, 2021. That's why I've come to the conclusion about the date that I've come to. Hold on, let me just flip up my music here. My music died on me. I don't like not having music in my head. Okay, so that's why I've come up to the conclusion I have on where I think the market's going to top on September 24th, 2021. There's a lot of things because of the harder, and this is it's not an exact science, and it probably will not happen on that date for many reasons. One, the DXY was much stronger, and we had harder monetary policy all through here, which again started a slower cycle and then led to a later blow off top, which is going to change the dynamics. In our cycle now, let me really zoom in here. Good auto. All right, so this last cycle, which is what I care about more in researching this, to our cycle, we've had a much stronger price appreciation early on, again because of the easy monetary policy. And so I do think that means that we may end up seeing a peak before this even. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. But, you know, the other thing is how does price action play out the rest of the way here? So this is why I've come to the conclusion, though, that I have, again, late September sometime I think is roughly when we can see the peak. But it's not an exact science. This is not financial. Okay, and I should always start with, this is not financial advice. Anything that you see here is not financial advice. I am not your financial analyst. I'm trying to pull up a picture of and if you listen to my advice, you'll end up living in a van down by this one's a little bit nicer. Because we're on an upswing, I'm going to give you all a nicer van by the river picture today. There we go. Nice. There you go. That's a nice van by the river, but hey, you know, Ethereum broke out, so maybe we can get a nicer van by the river. All right, that was my really long-winded answer to that. I hope that answers your question. Let's take a look at what Bitcoin's doing here. Yeah, and I've got, again, we'll have to go look at that 60K sell wall and what's ETH doing. Nice, still holding above 1900. What is the early phase of the alt season? Is there going to be another one? All right. So Joshua, that was a really long answer. I hope that answered your question. The short answer is late September. What's the early phase of alt season? Is there going to be another one? So we're in it right now. We're in the middle of it. Let me just show you back on my BLX chart I was talking about earlier. This is where I get this information from. I'm going to put on here, I got the Pi cycle. Pi cycle is probably going to cross any minute now. It's a useless indicator, obviously. So I'm going to compare ETH USD with the Coinbase feed, and we're going to make him purple. And then I'm also going to throw on here, I don't think it'll let me .USD, and I don't care what exchange I use for that, that'll work. And then I'm going to make him pink. All right. All right, so ETH is, make ETH blue and make it a little bit more distinguishable. ETH, whatever, you'll get the idea. All right, let's go back to last cycle. This is where I get this from. I need to go to percentage, sorry. All right, last cycle, cycle 2, here we are. What happened was early on, so this is from the halving on, you see here Ethereum made a huge run. This was like a 3,600%. It topped out at 3,600%. When Bitcoin had taken its prior all-time high and was moving up. Now Bitcoin had ramped 300-something%, while Ethereum went 3,600%. Ethereum is much larger now, and it seems to track Bitcoin a lot closer nowadays than it used to. So, but this is what it did last cycle. So I called this what happened over here. Over here to the far left, at one point, Bitcoin actually sold off and Ethereum went up. And we've already taken advantage of that. That happened in January. That was the rotation phase. That happened in January. I was heavily trading alts versus Bitcoin to stack more Satoshis because it did happen just like this last cycle. And then as Bitcoin made its run, the alts just went parabolic. So right now, we should be right here. So what you see happening right now is this right here. And this is possibly what's ahead of us. It's going to look crazy. The problem is that, so this is a great run, right? So be prepared, hopefully take profit from it. But this is going to top out fast. This is going to be, and people are going to FOMO, and people are going to be buying like crazy all through here because this is going to look like it's going to relentlessly going up. You know, Polkadot and Cardano and whoever else is just going to be running relentlessly. But it'll top out. And it tends to top out. You see Bitcoin had a sell-off here, right? And you'll see here that Bitcoin had the sell-off. So right here at 300%, Bitcoin sold off and Ethereum sold off way worse. And then Bitcoin recovered. And you see here Bitcoin retook the same price level, but Ethereum was still lagging. And then Bitcoin went all the way up to 600% gain, and Ethereum barely took back the same gain. So it was losing versus Bitcoin from here on out. So my strategy is to be trading the alts all through here as much as I can, and then to rotate 20% of my HODL bags. I'm going to move 20% of my Ethereum, Link, Polkadot, Cardano over to Bitcoin. So that way, whenever this sell-off happens, I'm not out of the trade, but I'm not losing relentlessly on alts as they fall way harder than Bitcoin's going to fall. Okay, that's what happened last cycle. Let's go look at this cycle. And I put Polkadot on here because Ethereum is not going to move like it did last cycle, percentage-wise. It'll still move and probably outgain Bitcoin, but it's not going to move percentage-wise like it did. But Polkadot can, because Polkadot started with a much smaller market cap. So, Polkadot from the beginning until now. You see here a very similar pattern playing out, right? Let me show you. You see here, here's that rotation. Exact same thing happened. Bitcoin sold off. This was in January. I was talking about it all through here, and it happened. Bitcoin sold off, and the alts pumped. So we were able to stack a lot of Satoshis trading altcoins versus Bitcoin. But then when Bitcoin bottomed out, started to recover, then it stopped. Then we started the FOMO phase, which is, I think we've just started it. I think we have one more big leg up here. When this breaks out, this next, maybe April is going to be probably an insane month. But you see here, exact same thing. Polkadot is consolidating just like Ethereum did at around, you know, between 800%, really from the beginning of the halving over, well, see from the beginning of the run, let's just put it like this. Yeah, Polkadot's up, you know, in this range of 800% to 600%. So very likely, if we make another leg up here, Ethereum, and I did a video on this just a while back. You can go back a couple of videos. I did a video on how Polkadot could go 3,000%. Well, right now we're at, you know, roughly say we're at 1,000% gain, right? Really overall in this cycle so far. So it can 3x more from here in theory, which I think that could happen. Now I don't know. I'm not going to bank on it. We're going to take it one day at a time and trade the charts. But that's what might be ahead of us. So that's the early phase. And again, going back to our last cycle, so that you're not all caught on the wrong side of this. Be aware now. Be aware now that when this parabolic phase happens and we get like another roughly 3x. So, you know, Ethereum went from 700% gain up to 3,000% gain or whatever, right? Let's start at the very beginning of that run. That is another 300% run on top of what it already had done at that point, right? So if we get another 3x or whatever in altcoins, it's going to come to an end. It's not going to keep going forever, and you're going to be capped here for a long time. So you might as well be in Bitcoin and not losing your money. And then Bitcoin does this blow off top. The other thing too is that when Bitcoin does this big blow off top at the end, notice this. Look how badly ETH underperformed Bitcoin at the end, right? So just look at that. So Bitcoin at the end sucked the life out of everything. So it went up to 600% gain, and Ethereum was from that point that we were talking about forward only made a 200% gain to Bitcoin's 600% gain. So again, Bitcoin's going to suck the life out of these things more than they're going to. So, and it's not until after Bitcoin sells off, then there you go. That's your last chance. That's the last chance to play. And now, if you go to the very bitter end over here, you'll see Ethereum then again outgain Bitcoin. So this is our last chance after Bitcoin makes its all-time high to play the alts. Okay, lots of opportunities, but be aware. Don't get caught holding up here, and don't get caught buying, especially. These alts are going to come crashing down hard after this next big parabolic move. All right, hope that answered your question. Can I look at SNL? Let's take a look at the most recent comments. BTC is dropping fast. Oh, it's shaking you out. probably. And look at, let's see here. Is Bitcoin dropping fast? I don't look like it's dropping to me. Hold on. Let's go to another chart. Some more. Let's see here. Bitcoin is not dropping. So if you think Bitcoin is dropping fast, just zoom out a little bit. All right, it's just wiggling around, and it's going to be stuck under. It's going to be stuck under 60K. It's going to consolidate. So we've got good support here at. Let me take this percentage thing off here. We've got great support at the prior. So this prior peak right here, that price was, what is that? 58,411 roughly. And so we're getting good support at 58,411. So this was just, and we're going to be stuck under 60K. There's that big sell wall I just showed you a minute ago. Let's see if it's still there. BTC USD. We had a big sell wall. Yeah, look at that big sell wall at 60K. It's going to take a while to break through that unless some really big player comes in and puts a huge amount of big bit. Did it just spike just now? Am I seeing this right? We got a big bounce back already. But it's going to be stuck under 60K. It's going to consolidate, right? Things don't move like Bitcoin moves relentlessly up. This is it moving relentlessly up. So if you think that this was a big, if the comment that I just saw is why is Bitcoin selling off so hard, I'm just going to be blunt with you. If you think Bitcoin is selling off hard, you're doing it wrong, as Jordan would say. You're doing it very wrong. This is very good and healthy and just fine. It's going to consolidate under 60K. And I'm waiting for it to actually touch right below it and sell a little bit because I think it's going to continue to do this. But I don't know. If we consolidate long enough, I don't need to do that, right? That's only if we like spiked up into it real fast. I'm actually going to remove this alert right now because I no longer care about doing that because we've now come back to test this support. And now we're building good support. So the problem is, if I were to sell at 60K, I'm not going to probably get a re-entry because we're going to weaken that sell wall, come back down and bounce back into it real fast. And I may not get another entry. So there's no longer any point. I had that there. I put that alert there when we were making this big parabolic move right here, right? If we had come straight into 60K, we were going to get a harsh rejection. But we didn't really do that. We did get that, all this volatility. But I'm going to go ahead and remove that because we are now consolidating above our new support at 58,411. So that's all good and well. I would be concerned with Bitcoin if we fell below 55,780. 55,780 is where I'd be a little bit concerned and I'd be lightening up manually. My stop loss on my trades is still 49,985. I don't think I've moved them. So all my Bitcoin trades have the same stop loss below this wick, 49,985. However, back to my point earlier, if I saw that we were going to actually lose this, come down here, lose this somewhere in here, somewhere in this range, I would manually lighten up. I would manually start to sell. I'd probably lighten up on a break of this trend line, and I'd definitely be out probably as we broke that down there on my leveraged trades only. That's how I would do it. But yeah, we're bouncing right back. I'm like, this is fine. All right. Yep, that's the joke, Dave. The van by the river, that's the Chris Farley thing is the joke. So Matt made that joke in our Discord group and Telegram a long time ago. It's been a running joke in CTM for a long time. SNX, let's take a look at SNX. You guys, I'm going to have to be more blunt with people. When they start getting shaken out on little, like, the fact that $600 million worth of accounts were liquidated on this, like, little, wobble around last night is ridiculous. People are way just gambling. All right, people need to quit gambling and have a system. And the best system to take advantage of all this is definitely CTM, so go look into it if you don't know what it is. All right, there's a link in my in the video description for the course if you want to take a look at it. But you need to join us there if you're getting. It's consolidating. Right there. Yeah, so it's got some good consolidation here on SNX. Is this synthetics? Wait, synthetics? I got a chart. Yeah, what am I doing? I'm looking at an SNX chart on USD. I hold it. I have a bag of this. It's doing pathetic, but it's looking bad versus Bitcoin. I probably should have sold a long time ago, but I think I bought my bag on this dip down right here or something. When was that? February? No, I guess I don't know. Who knows? Should have sold it. It's a really small bag. It looks bad versus Bitcoin, but at some point it's going to bounce, right? So we just don't know when that is. And I wouldn't trade this thing. You're going to get some support there, possibly. On SNX, I also see this. So you got below this kind of area here. You need to retake this. So if you're going to trade it, like if you're trying to buy it, if you love the project and you want to buy it, hold it long term, this is probably not a bad place, because likely you're not going to get too much below all this area. Now you might, get as low as, just watch and see where you get support. Maybe add a little here, add a little there. If you just love it and want to buy it for like long term to hold it through the end of the cycle, you added those two areas. And maybe look to get out if it gets meaningfully below that or something. I don't know. This is versus Bitcoin, so you might as well just be holding Bitcoin right now, just watching this play out. Now for trades, yeah, this is. Let's look at SNX USD. It's consolidating. I think I saw it. Yeah, it looks like it's consolidating here, but it's underperforming Bitcoin really bad. I don't know if there's any real good opportunity. So you break out of this to the upside. That'll probably correspond with the bounce on the Bitcoin chart off of the support that we just highlighted there. So you might have a trading opportunity in this. We break out of this level. But here's the other things. I just saw that. I would want to wait till you get back above this. Anyway, yeah, not something I'd trade. It's a good project. I like the project. So if you're just trying to accumulate, it's probably not the worst place to accumulate some. I mean, you had this. How far are you off from your high right here? You're almost 50% off right now. Right now, you're 40% off. It's probably a good accumulation spot if you're really just wanting to add to your position. I mean, it's a project I like, so I might take my own advice and look at it after this video. Thanks for asking, because now maybe I will go do something about it. Let's look at something on. And it's probably, honestly, just at the macro level. This is a position. This is not a swing trade, especially not leverage. But if you're just really wanting to build up a position in something, this is this project right here. It's the number one derivatives. On DeFi Pulse, it's the number one derivatives by locked-in value. 2.2 billion of locked-in value on synthetics. So I mean, you could definitely do worse than buying the dip on the project here. So I like it. I mean, it's not looking good at this moment. So if you really want to make sure you're on the right side of the trade and you don't add until it improves, wait until you get out of this, break out of this consolidation area, and you start to really see some resumption of upward price movement. It'll probably again correspond with the bounce of it off of these lows here on this, find support somewhere over here and bounce and get resumption versus Bitcoin. All right, back to comments. Oh, no, well, I'm glad to hear that. I don't know how to say your name, Waka Choka. At least you use my Bitcoin. All right, many thanks for the long answer. No problem. Yeah, so I got a comment here I like. Dave says, pockets loaded with stimulus, so cryptos are in play and we can gas our van. That's great. Also, remember tax, so people will be getting their tax refunds if they haven't already. They will be getting them here pretty soon, stimulus checks. So on the retail side, there's going to be some funds available for people to buy. I saw somebody in our Discord group, I forget who it was exactly, made the comment that, it seems like crypto pumps a lot over whatever April 4th is. Is that Labor Day? I don't even remember not Labor Day. April, what is that? April 5th? Easter, duh. Easter weekend, Labor Day. That's September. Easter weekend, over Easter weekend, it might pump after that. People get together. But that's going to be a retail pump. And what's really driving this market is more institutional money for Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum. But, the retail does still drive these smaller names. Maybe not so much. I think there's institutional money definitely flowing into ADA, DOT, Link. It's largely why I hold them is because these are the places that institutions are going to deploy their capital if they're going to get involved in crypto meaningfully. These are the names they're going to get into. Back to my live stream. Right to comments, I mean. So I was going to do a video here a little bit ago, but I decided to go live. Ethereum's strong. Let's take a look at the ETH chart. Whew. I should have waited for here to take my profits. That was a mistake. Oh man, this is a lesson in don't take your profits too early. I mean, we've been consolidating so much. I've gotten in the mode of I see to take profits where I can. Gotta let your winners run. At least I have trades on USD, versus fiat, but that's a mistake. I got to catalog that one. I did not let my winner run. It didn't get meaningfully below, and I should have just put a stop under here and just dealt with it. All right. I like reflecting on my mistakes. Isten says Jordan will exit into gold too. Yeah, I will probably put funds all over the place. So I'm looking to buy some land. I'm looking to things that might be for tax write-offs. I have some side business ventures I might get into just to help tax write-offs. But yeah, I'll probably buy some equities, some gold. Leave some parked in stable coins, obviously on exchanges for trading. Maybe put some in BlockFi, stable coin for, earning interest. We'll figure it out when we get there. I'm not right now. I'm focused on let's just get this trade right, and then when we exit, then I'll figure out where the best place is because the world's going to change by then. Things, gold might spike to $5,000 between now and then, and it really won't be a great time to buy gold. Most likely, Bitcoin's going to suck the life out of gold. And we're going to have a nice opportunity to play the inversion when Bitcoin sells off and money goes flowing back into gold. It's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen, honestly. I think gold is going to... silver, sorry. I think gold is probably going to just flatline here. And not really do a whole lot and maybe even sell off as Bitcoin. People rotate their gold into Bitcoin. And man, would that be a great opportunity? What if gold sold off to... Let me go to the monthly levels. Hold on. Where we at? Whoa. Way off the reservation. Where's a good level? Man, wouldn't it be awesome? Yeah, like something like $1,300, $1,400 if gold actually sold off here. Now, for those of you trading gold, I'm sorry. I don't think this is going to happen. I think where we're at right now is probably our low. 1,700 or so, I think is probably going to hold just fine and resume up here. But, if we had this massive sell-off as people left gold to go into Bitcoin at the parabolic top, man, if gold were to lose this and come all the way down to say 1,400 to 1,500, that would be probably a fantastic opportunity to rotate from Bitcoin into gold. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there, though. I mean, if gold's, like I said, if gold's $5,000, $10,000, you can forget me probably getting into it too heavily. Should gold kick in hard once the crypto bull market? Listen, that's kind of my thesis. I think that's what's going to play out, right? That would be just fantastic if we could all hop into gold right around 1,400, 1,500 as Bitcoin's topping and people are going the wrong way. Money's rotating out of gold into Bitcoin, and we catch the top of Bitcoin, sell, and catch the bottom of gold and buy. That would be just an absolutely fantastic rotation on our part. But we'll have to play it by ear. See if we can make that happen. What happens after the previous bull cycles, crypto versus gold? I don't know. It's a great research project. I'll try to research that. Does selling 20% of your HODL position into the last cycle repeat, meaning you're 20% confident in history repeating itself? No, Nathan, I'm about 90% confident in history repeating itself, and I'm just going to follow the charts, frankly. So when these charts go absolutely bananas parabolic, like ETH BTC, Link BTC, I'm going to the daily here. When I see these charts, my main ones that I will be, I have large enough positions in to matter. When I see their charts go just uber parabolic versus Bitcoin, and we come into some key level of resistance, that's when I'll rotate because I'll be following the charts and I'll be looking for a short-term reversal. I'm about 90% confident that history is going to repeat to some degree. It may not be. History doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes. So really, what I'm looking for is for history to rhyme enough for me to capitalize on it. And so you will see me probably rotate like at ADA. Here's an example. I'll look at this level. If we blast through this and find support and look like we're going to resume up, I'll wait for this level. But I'll wait till I see some level that I think is we're going to falter from on the Bitcoin chart, and that's when I'll rotate. So I'm just going to follow the charts. I'm not going to worry too much about my macro thesis, but my macro thesis is going to guide what I'm looking for, if that makes sense. But yeah, Nathan, I'm really confident that something similar to what we've had in the past is going to play out. Maybe not exactly, but similar. Do you think ADA will get lower price during the bear market? I'm planning to buy it HODL, but hesitant. TCSP. I made this bold prediction late last year, and I'll make it again for you. I think Cardano is going to have the single largest sustainable gain this year out of all crypto. Now, that's microcaps excluded. There's going to be some microcap project, probably some maybe Polkadot project that really does phenomenally well and has like a sustainable 100x gain. I'm talking larger crypto projects that we can, at this stage, more confidently predict. I think out of the top, say 20, Cardano is going to see the biggest increase in its base price. The new bear market low in Cardano will be higher percentage-wise than anything else that's of the larger projects. That's my firm conviction. And you know, at first I was kind of off on DOT, but I'm obviously thinking DOT's going to be right there with them. So between Polkadot and Cardano, but Cardano I think still more so than Polkadot. So I don't think you're ever going to be able to buy Cardano under $1 ever again. Probably ever again. It's probably done. It's whatever this right here, that date right there, March 15th. The last time you could have ever bought Cardano under $1 probably was right here. This is not financial advice, purely my opinion. You know, if you want to live in a van down by the river, but that tells you your downside right now. I don't think it's ever going to go below $1 again. I thought 80 cents was coming. This held up so much better than I could ever have fathomed right here. Right at $1, it's held up so much better than I ever thought. I thought for sure we would come back down to like 80 or 70 cents or something, and we still might. I mean, a quick wick down below $1, sure. Meaningfully trading below $1, I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think this next blow off, top we're going to have in the big, we'll probably come back, Cardano and Gogan's coming out here soon. I mean, with the Alonzo testnet, Alonzo hard fork for the testnet coming here soon, it's going to be so much hype. It's going to probably blow up to $2 or $3, and the new low will probably be these high wicks right here, $1.49 or so, maybe $1.40 with the last, when we blow this out finally, meaningfully, this right here, that level right there, when we blow that level out meaningfully, that'll be the new support, and this summer, and then you'll never see these prices ever again. Next bear market, it'll be a lot higher than this. It'll maybe the bear market low might be $3. Just a guess, wild guess. Pretty much whatever we top out at in the early stage of this altcoin rotation is probably going to be a pretty good level to look for it to meaningfully trade at. Now, again, a capitulation phase, we might see like a $1.50, $2 Cardano in the bear market, but I think it'd have to be a pretty massive capitulation. It's just my opinion. All right. What's Bitcoin doing? Doing its thing, consolidating. Ooh, man, Ethereum's still making moves. I also thought Ethereum was going to outperform his cousins, his little brothers, I guess. Polkadot and Cardano are definitely Ethereum's little brothers. I think Ethereum's going to beat up his little brothers a little bit here and show him who's boss for about a month or two. Maybe, I don't know. I say that it may be like a week or two, might be more accurate. Because again, with the Alonzo stuff coming for Cardano, Cardano's going to just go bananas. Now, again, I have a light, very, very small trade on Cardano. I think I got a CTM entry. Where was it at? Right over here somewhere. I'm somehow up on it, so I must have taken an entry. I think I'm just break even. I took profit into this trend line right here. I took half of my position. I did have a trade on Cardano somewhere, right around where we're at. Probably right here. I don't know, whatever. I'm I had this line here. This is my re-add to Cardano. So I took profit up here. So I've taken a little profit on this, but I have a very small trade on. Even though I know it's like probably going to go to the moon here soon, I'm just going to wait for the technicals to show me and to tell me to take more, a larger entry. But I do have a small entry on just in case it blows up on us myself. But all right. What do you think about ADA's upside this cycle based on the Coinbase listing? I still think $10. I've said for forever that I think that, and this is not a is a Cardano's going to go to $10 and be at $10 forever. Just get that out of your head. I'm saying when I say stuff like I think $10 is the top, I'll be out before any of these levels I say. I'll have sold out and I'll be watching the parabolic top probably. I'll sell off at some. It looks like we're breaking some trend line down, maybe $4, $5, $6, and I'm selling my Cardano. At a really big parabolic move. When it starts to look like it's selling off, it may just be consolidation for another big leg up. We're not going to be able to get perfectly, especially these altcoins. They're going to blow up way more than we ever thought. But I still think I will probably hold some Cardano all the way until I see $10 plus print. And it might be a very quick. It might be up there for an hour, right, and then just sell off hard. I don't know, but I think that's the top. Somewhere around that range seems reasonable to me for a top on Cardano. All right, but again, it's not something you can bank on. Like I wouldn't buy Cardano today and just sit and hold it until it hits $10 because you very well might be holding it through the bear market because I don't know that it's going to hit $10. I just think it might very briefly hit $10. When should ADA peak? In August? No, altcoins should peak in October after Bitcoin sells off. So by like the first week or two of October. Cardano, Ethereum, Polkadot, Chainlink, they should all peak out, in those first couple weeks in October. So by mid-October, assuming Bitcoin does actually peak right around end of September, you need to be out of altcoins by middle of October because they're going to sell off even worse. AXS USD. Using CTM methodology, it's definitely an uptrend. Looking good. So I find some kind of trend line I like. The main thing that this is tough. I'm gonna go with this horizontals. Forget trend lines right now. It's obviously an uptrend. I'm insulting people here by putting that. But you see here's my. I see that as support right there. I mean, it's clear. It's very CTM-esque support. Those touches right there. And then it's kind of the touches of those kind of come up pretty close to the bottom of those wicks there where it tried to find support. And we're coming into it now. So you may be coming into support. I wouldn't trust that support a whole lot. Let me flip to the daily. Yeah, there's your support right there. There you go. So the top of these dailies right here were market reversed. We've blown through that where the market reversed before. We've blown through that. Hold support here and consolidate above it. What I would be, if it was me, what I'd be doing now above this green line, let's go back to the 4 hour. I'd be waiting for this. You see this kind of consolidation pattern? This is way too steep of a pattern. I would never take a trade on a breakout of this. But you're likely going to see some development of some consolidation here if it holds up. It'll consolidate above this line and give you a nice little pattern of some type. And then you'll have some level that you can see kind of clearly again to play off of. Now if it breaks down, which it very well could do, then you have a trend line to deal with here. I see, obviously you're going to have something looking like this, however you want to draw it. Do your own trend line here. I have to stare at this for a while to get it right, but something like this, I don't know. Whatever. It'll probably come down into here, and then obviously this is the next support you have down here on a CTM methodology. And then back to our daily, kind of looking at Heath levels. Here's your next support. Where the market sold off, it bounced and then broke down right here. I think this might be kind of a Heath level to watch. Now, when we blasted through it, so yeah, that should give you some support right there. I'll go to the 8 hour, see if we can see its story here. And this is where the market reversed on us. This is where the bulls try to take control, and the market got reversed pretty strongly through here. So you might find some support here too. Okay, so those levels, just for your, I got 584, 541, 506, and 477 is maybe some areas to lean into. If you're looking to acquire long term, if you just love this project, this is like your baby, and you want to build your position, those are all levels to look at, maybe adding onto your position. Trading wise, you need to wait for some consolidation. You need to wait for a pattern to develop that you can predictably work off of. Now, on a 12-hour, which is again my favorite to trade on, you might be getting a super steep bull flag. I would not, it's too steep for me. I would not take, I would wait. Just patience on this one. It's moved a lot. It's great. It's at an uptrend. Just be patient and watch it. That's what I would do. Now let's take a look at, you said, I hope I got the right project. AXS. I'm thinking of another project. Axie Infinity. No, I don't know this one. No idea. No idea what this is. Oh, cool. It's a game. Blockchain-based trading and battle game. Inspired by Pokemon. And Tamagotchi, I guess is how you say that. Cool, yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about it. If you like it, you know, that's what I would do. All right, man, we got a lot of comments in here. Let's see here. I'm gonna start to wrap this up by looking at what I think are my favorite couple of comments, and then we'll wrap this up because I think we're kind of done for now on. Well, yeah, see right here. I mean, I'm over the daily. We're gonna have resistance right here. Clear. This is your next Heath level. Let me move some Heath levels up for you guys. This is your Heath level. If you're in Ethereum, which I'm in my trade, this is probably a good place to look at taking some profit right now and then re-entering on consolidation. We're probably not going to break through 1922, 23 in the next couple of hours. We're probably going to come back to test 1870, more likely than not. Now, of course, this is crypto, and this could just be a monster breakout, and we could be off to the moon. But the odds are, I'd say 80% that we consolidate a little bit in here before moving up. So, yeah, as soon as we wrap up here, I will probably go take me a little profit right here. Actually, I'm gonna do it on my phone right now. I can trade on my. I'm gonna do it right now. After what? You can see me put my money where my mouth is. My phone's set up to trade. Let's see here. What do I got? I got a couple positions on in Ethereum. Let's take this one off. Yeah, I got a big winner. Wow. I'm up 12.5% on one position. First one. First in, first out was to be sold. What did I enter that at then? Where's 12.5%? Oh yeah, I did my entry right there. And I have a smaller entry. Oh, I took another entry right here, I guess. I'm only up 3.5% on that one. So I'll let that one ride, but I'm gonna close out my big winner here into this resistance. Close her out. And I'm gonna look to re-enter. So I'm doing that right now. So not financial advice. Do not do whatever. Van by the river. I'm gonna sell my ether right there. So I just took some profits. We came into resistance, and I can see that little wick forming. You know, likely we're gonna consolidate here. Now I could be wrong, and it could rip in my face. So I still have half of my trade on. So I'm good. And I still have a large HODL position, so I'm all good with it blowing up in my face. But now I've got some fresh profits I'm staring at in my account there. So there you go. Put my money where my mouth is. All right, so yeah, that's a big green candle right into a key Heath level. I took profit. All right, hope that was beneficial for somebody out there. ETH BTC trade is broken as ADA is a new coin with low market cap on the block. Sonics, no, don't be a maxi, I would say, my opinion. I at one point was a maxi. I was kind of an Ethereum maxi for a long time, to be honest with you. So, you know, I got really big into some smaller projects like IOTA. It was one of my big pet projects. And then I got, you know, but I was a big ETH fan for a long time. And last market cycle, I didn't know what to do with all this stuff, but I became a big Ethereum fan because of, you know, the utility and all this stuff. And I was a gamer. I had GPUs. GPU mining Ethereum was far more profitable. Yada yada yada. So I became kind of an ETH maxi, and I thought Ethereum was going to take over the world. Until I started to really do some research and look at, you know, how these projects really, you know, they're going to be. So if you look at what happened with the internet, so Bitcoin is pretty much the digital currency revolution. It's the internet, right? And it's the foundation on which everything else is built. Now, it's not a direct corollary because the internet is literally a physical thing that, you know, other things are built on top of. But what was born out of the internet were the titans: Google, Facebook, Amazon, so forth, right? Netflix, whatever. These titans all have their strengths. They all compete with each other in a lot of ways, but they all have their dominant niches. And I think that's what's going to happen with Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot. I think they're all going to carve out. I think, again, Polkadot you can look at a lot like Shopify and Etsy combined for crypto, right? It's the place where smaller projects, new up-and-coming projects are going to try to develop on because it's so much easier to develop on. It's kind of expensive though, but Substrate, either Kusama or a parachain slot, whatever you can get. It's a great place for newer, smaller projects to have everything they need at their fingertips to get off the ground. Cardano is the developers, with Ayala, the ability to code smart contracts in any language you want, and a million other advantages that Cardano has. The native asset on the settlement layer, which will allow decentralized exchanges to operate far more cost effectively on Cardano. You know, there's a lot of reasons why Cardano is going to be super strong. But Cardano, you know, Charles Hoskins is such an ambassador for the good of what crypto can bring. He's going to be hyper focused on, you know, underdeveloped nations and things like that, bringing the capabilities of crypto to Africa and things of that nature. And so they may end up specializing in the rest of the globe, like, you know, the global enablement of these underserved countries and really bringing them online. And Ethereum, given its hooked and it's already got a lot of partnerships with a lot of big names, very well may be the venture capital building block, right? The main core network. So, like, the upside combined market cap for these three names, because they are the clear leaders as far as I'm concerned. Nobody else is anywhere near Ethereum, Cardano, and Polkadot. Not even close. Those three names. Now, there's other projects that are great, like I think Link is great, and other projects I think are great, but they're not necessarily the leaders in the platform space. But I think these three, the combined market cap potential for these is like in the quadrillions of dollars. Like the you know, $1 trillion is going to look like nothing to these projects in 10, 20 years. They're going to be so massively huge. So when you look at, I could see Ethereum having a $100 trillion market cap, Cardano having a $200 trillion market cap, and Polkadot having a $500 trillion market cap. Or pick any one of those. Ethereum 500, ADA 100, and DOT 200, whatever. Pick any combination you want. Something that combines to about a quadrillion dollar market cap. I could see these three projects, you know, being fairly interchangeable, all having multi-$100 trillion market caps. That's the insane upside we're talking about. So there's no reason to be a maxi about these things. There's no reason to go, oh, who's going to be the winner? They're all probably going to win in their own respective spaces. Some will do better than others, and there will probably be a dominant platform. One of them will probably be the go-to platform for the biggest, most, profitable ventures. But they can all win. There's no reason they can't all win. The space is so huge, they can definitely all win. So let's just leave it at that. Matic, LRC, I think I like them both. Matic, LRC, Optimism, SNX, Ren, all of the scaling things, they all have room to grow. They're not going to be as big as the core platforms, I don't think. Now, I could be wrong. You know, Matic, here's a dark horse for you in that whole, like, who could be mega huge market cap. Like something like a Matic, and a blockchain agnostic layer 2 scaling solution that allows developers to use a platform that it spreads across all of the layer 1 platforms and takes the best assets of each of the platforms, like maybe a Matic or Polygon now, which is a blockchain agnostic scaling solution. Matic could really blow up and be, a big mega horse in this race. But I don't. At this stage in the game, it's too early to say. But that also makes sense, right? From a macro perspective and looking at the long term, there could be just a monster layer 2 scaling solution that really ends up being the main thing that everybody uses. And then again, the layer 1 Cardano, Polkadot, and Ethereum maybe all have their niches, and then this layer 2 scaling solution taps into them for what they do best. I don't know, because there's also, you know, there's the Algorands of the world, the Zelikas, the EOS, and Stellar. There's a bajillion good quality chains that are not Polkadot, Cardano, Ethereum, but they're the next tier down. And so a layer 2 scaling solution that can also give you, you know, where Stellar is doing well, it can snap into Stellar and use Stellar for what Stellar does best. It can snap into Algorand for what it does best. It can snap into Zelika for what it does best, whatever, right? So that may be a part of the solution as well. So I wouldn't be too much of a maxi about this stuff. I mean, they can all become humongous. So there's no reason to try to pick a winner. It's just a matter of who's going to perform the best in the immediate future and being in the right trade at the right time based on, you know, like really what I do a lot of is I look at the roadmaps and I try to figure out, okay, based on the roadmap, based on the hype cycle, who's going to get the most positive press and which of these major projects that I track are as likely to get, you know, see the most hype, right? And that's really just following the hype cycle and trying to trade in and out of that basically. So, and I said this a couple live streams ago that I thought Ethereum would outperform his little brothers, Cardano and Polkadot, in the very short term because EIP 1559, Optimism, Layer 2 scaling, they're ramping up the timeline potentially for going proof of stake, so forth and so on. There's lots of positive developments for them. So there's a lot of good hype cycle. But then Cardano did their 360 thing. And it looks like the Alonzo roadmap is even faster coming, which is the full Goguen rollout. Alonzo hard fork is coming faster than I thought. So it's really hard to pick a winner right now. I think we just follow the charts and take the trades, the best setups that we can, and that's what we should be doing. All right, long answer. I'm glad you're at the market for a van, Kimberly. You'll need it. So I don't think Ethereum's broken. So Heath, did you see me take the? I saw Heath say nice trade. Is it the ETH BTC one, or the ETH USD? Yeah, the ETH USD trade. I just took myself a 12% winner right there into the resistance, and hopefully I get another chance to enter. Half of it's off. I got I'm now up 5% on the second half of my entry. But I hope I get another entry. Like I would love to. Both of those entries combined are actually only roughly 50% of what I'd be comfortable entering a trade on in Ethereum. So I actually wasn't even in a full-size trade because I thought both of those were pretty early and preemptive, and I wasn't trying to, you know, I really wanted to get outside of this trend line right here on Ethereum to put on a full-size trade, to be honest. I'm gonna make that line, whatever. So now we're in the area I want to be in. So, you know, my next trade entry or two, my next 12-hour entry, when I get it, you know, I may be in for a bigger position. So. All right, guys. Heath levels are so good. We are learning so much from each other. I've learned far more from all you than you have from sitting on my live stream. I promise you that. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for all the great questions. Apparently, I have more chat revenue than oh, there's that one super chat. Thank you again for the super chat, Joshua. I appreciate it. Hope you got the answer you were looking for. Nathan, a full trade for me is 2% risk. However, because of the way that I scale in positions, I do a bunch of smaller 0.5% risk trades. Yes, and I scale up to 2%. I've actually, because I can keep moving my stop loss up, and if I'm in a good trade that's running, I think total it actually would have been like a 4 or 5% risk, but my stop losses are all in profit by the time I do that. So I never have more than 2% risk in any one you know, name at any time. But I have gone up as large as like what would have been a 5% risk had I not been managing my stop losses and moving them up. So but remember, I use really large stop losses. So had I used a CTM style stop loss, the position size would be about the equivalent to a 2% risk, yes. But I use very wide stop losses, so my positions, relatively speaking, are all very, very small, and I scale in. So, you know, that's the other thing to keep in mind is that I'm not, like, if you are following the CTM program, the Forex trading, you're going to have much, much bigger size, position sizes relative when you do like a 1% than I am, because you're going to put a much tighter stop loss in Forex than I'm using. So my 0.5% trades are more like 1/10% risk in a Forex equivalent. So when I say I get up to after multiple entries and I scale in, I might be up to a 5% risk, but that's with humongous stop losses. Again, that'd probably be in between a 1 and 2% risk position size in a Forex trade. But yeah, always calculate whenever you enter a trade. And again, I use really wide stop losses, so my positions are all really, really small. This is why I don't sweat these like wicks and stuff like that. I'm never going to get liquidated because my positions are way, way too small, and I scale into them over time. But you know, I would use a really, like, that would be a pretty tight stop loss for me. Like where we're at right now, if we were to get a 12-hour signal, say we got a retest of this and a resumption down here, and I decided to take another 12-hour signal here, my stop loss would be 2 support levels. So this support level and this support level. Below that, I'd put my stop loss down here. Right? So I'd have a really wide stop loss. And I might even move it, inch it down just a little bit, because I see this little level here. I might even, now my next entry, because we're above all this, it'll be probably, you know, I'll probably use like a 1760 right at this trend line. You know, that would be my stop loss for an entry up here, something like that. So that's a pretty big stop loss, right? So again, you know, if I'm entering at say 1890 or 1880, I'm putting a stop loss in it. And I don't even feel, I just said that, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. My stop loss would actually be down here at 1720, below this trend line. That's where I would put it. So I'd calculate, you know, maybe 1% risk in this next trade. It'd be a little bigger trade for me. I'd calculate 1% risk, whatever my entry is down to this level. I have a little spreadsheet. It would tell me how much I can enter based on a 1% risk. That'd be my next trade. And then, you know, we get above this level up here. This is another one. I would move my stop loss up here, get another 12-hour signal. I would move this stop loss up, the one I placed way down here. Then I would move it up to maybe to where that would equivalent be, yeah, I mean, I might move it up to close to break even. Probably not. I'd probably just move it up to like up here and then put another 1% on, right? And then manage that accordingly. That's how I kind of do it. But because I already have, remember, this whole time I have a position on here, it's a smaller 0.5% one. That stop loss would get moved up to profit as I move this other one up here. I'd move them up together, so I'd have a trade on and profit. Then my stop loss and profit, another trade that I'd have with now, you know, down from a 1% risk to a 0.5% risk. So I'm net back to almost break even. If I were to get stopped out, this new position would get me another 1% risk, and then I'd be probably pretty well positioned once I got to move this up to where the net total was break even. I probably would just maintain that and look to take profit. Probably a convoluted explanation, but it's kind of how I do it, right? All right, I'm gonna wrap up here, guys. Thank you. What isn't good news? This isn't good news, Lady Justice? Oh, some kind of spammer. All right, guys. Thanks everybody for being on. I appreciate you all. Let's light up some music and get out of here. I have some day job stuff to go take care of. Sure. So I'm gonna go back to working on that. Let's put on the 80s Synthwave. It seems to be my most popular